Hey guys, this is Andy McCann here to help you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances, and today we're talking intensity. I'm going to take you all through this. This is probably the most important thing in CrossFit, and we're going to drive down into that. I got a couple other things I'm going to do for you today, but the big thing is intensity, and we're going to do that first, and then I'll chalk in some other stuff at the end. I'm using this opportunity to record this both as a video and a podcast, so I want our members and our coaches be able to find this later on and understand what we're trying to do with intensity. So let me just give you the spoiler right now. CrossFit, the whole design behind what it's there for is to make you harder to kill with the minimal input with the maximal output. Okay, so I'm going to go through a whole bunch of things. You're going to be like, what the hell? And this is what it's for. I want to become harder to kill and live the longest possible life I possibly can without putting in that much effort. It's true, I could do hypertrophy. That takes 2 hours in the gym. I don't want to do hypertrophy. It's stupid. It also misses out on the whole side of endurance, right? So it's just muscle. I can get both of this. CrossFit is the biggest hack. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of no-brainers. It's a huge hack to your health and fitness. Okay, I'm going to get into that. And a couple other things. First, we are CrossFit Garage. You can come join our gym here in Woodstock, Georgia. If you're not in Woodstock, Georgia, you're like, I can't get down there. It's too far away. We have started Garage Fitness Online, which technically has nothing to do with the gym. Brandon, who has CrossFit Bound, and myself, and then Charles and Justin have jumped into this venture to try to build an online community of people who have gyms in their garage or their basements that want to follow along, and we want to help you. So we're building that online community now. We literally just started like a month ago, and it's small but it's growing. Like anything, you got to start somewhere. Again, minimal viable product or the minimal input to grow. The next thing, you can listen to us on podcast, Food, Fitness, Finance is what it's called now, and you can find me on YouTube, Andy at CrossFitGarage.com. And let me see if I can view my own channel there, so you can watch this both as a video or as a podcast. Anyway. So I'm going to go into CrossFit. I love CrossFit. I started doing CrossFit in 2007 thanks to Eric Richards saying, hey, you should try this stupid thing. I am probably one of the fittest 50-year-old men that I have ever met. I know that sounds weird, but you know what I'm trying to say is I can get out there and do the thing. And if you are younger, there's no way for me to say this without sounding egotistical. I have what you want. You want to be healthy and fit. Well, let me take that back. I could be a better human. My emotional side is not great. My ability to deal with people is not great. I'm working on that still. There are many other things that I probably could be doing better. But what I'm trying to say is health and fitness. I'm not taking any drugs. I don't have a prescription of anything. I don't eat whatever I need. I'm actually right now doing the Lion Diet with Evan. So it's basically ruminant meat, salt, and water. I am drinking coffee. And we have added things in that Evan had added. So I've added goat cheese in there and eggs. And that's it. I'm going back for some blood work, which I'll do another podcast on. A second round of blood work to see if I don't have enough nutrients in my body. Right now, 3 months into this, I feel pretty damn good. Anyway, I have got this long life. The only thing that's going to stop me at this moment is kinetic impact or the random dice that sometimes is thrown at you that you can't really do anything about. But you can do stuff for your health and for your fitness and for your longevity. When you step out in front of a road, you can look right and left. When you get in a car, you can wear a seatbelt. When you decide to order, don't order the dumbass stuff. Order like something smart to eat, right? You can do this. CrossFit is the hack for health and fitness. All right, I'm going to go way down that rabbit hole. I've actually done something I usually don't do. I cast ChatGPT. I was like, organize all my notes in something that makes a bit more coherent sense. So I'm going to be pausing and going back and forth because I want to make sure that I lay this out in a manner that's understandable. Let me say this first. I am 50. I've been doing this for about 18 years. I am really damn healthy and fit. This stuff works. Unfortunately, it even works if you half-ass it. So if you come in and you add some intensity, you're going to see results. It may not be the exact results you want. For instance, many guys show up and say, I just want to be bigger. That is not necessarily CrossFit. Yes, it'll make you bigger. It'll make you bigger. But not as fast as hypertrophy. It's a different thing. It's just lifting. Obviously, you can increase your protein consumption, add some creatine, all that stuff. Ladies, typically you come in and you say, I would just like to lose weight. Man, if I cut your leg off, you would lose weight. We are going to lose weight, but you got to understand fat and muscle weigh and show differently. I can change your body type. Your weight may stay the same. I think you're okay with the change of body type. There used to be a picture that I had of a lady that was like 130 pounds and what she looked like and 140 pounds and what she looked like. The 140 pounds was while doing CrossFit, and she looks way better than the lighter version of herself. I think everyone's going to agree they want to be toned and fit and look good naked. This is going to help you, and this is what intensity does. Okay, so let me start off with this. Okay, so if I started off with what is fitness, I think we're going to get a ton of different answers. And none of them are specifically wrong since it's you trying to define your own thing. But if we were going to try to say that person right there is fitter than that person right here, I think what you would say is if I had like a hopper of ping pong balls that said, when I spun it and I pulled one out and said, everyone do this. The person that rose to the top, so basically the generalist, is going to be the most fit because they're going to rise to the top most often. So they may never win, like, hey, let's lift. They may not win against a lifter, but they're going to do quite well against a runner, right? So CrossFit is a general physical preparation program. That's a lot of P's. So CrossFit wants to create a definition of fitness, and they're going to say it's your it's work capacity across a broad time and modal domain. And then I would also add as you progress in life. But what that means is, what can you deliver in work capacity? So work divided by time, power, your work capacity, your power output, over various time domains. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, 8 minutes, 40 minutes, 90 minutes. So time domains and various modalities or methods. So am I jogging? Am I lifting? Am I rock climbing? Am I mountain biking? That's what they're saying is whoever can land in the top 10 most of the time across most broad scope of everything is probably the fittest. I think we would all agree. Now, you can narrow it down. Am I the fittest for marathons? Probably not. But we're not looking at specific. We're looking at general, okay? CrossFit is going to hack its way into that. It's also going to want to train you in the 10 general physical skills. And I'm just tapping into these. I'm not going to go into them deep. I just need to give you an understanding so we understand where intensity comes into play. All right, and those 10 general physical skills are, it's cardiorespiratory endurance, your stamina, your strength, flexibility, power and speed, coordination, agility, and balance. Okay, so power and speed are what the other guys kind of lean themselves into, and that's the showcase of your skills. All right, I already talked about this hopper model, and then we've got this metabolic pathway. Let me click into that. Essentially, there are two energy sources. You can have oxidative, I'm breathing, I'm using oxygen, or non-oxidative, it's something else. In that, they're finding more systems, but there's 3 that they really lean into, and that's your phosphagen, glycolytic, and of course going back into the oxidative, but there's one in between that I'm not really going to go into, but the idea is you have fight or flight, and then you've got, I just need to run a long way. CrossFit's idea is, in the science we've seen, training one of them is okay, but training all of them is better. So if we can have a workout program and methodology that hits all of this, then we're going to deliver a higher degree of fitness than, pigeonholing you into one thing. So that's why some days we just lift. That's why, like today, we did Chad, where we did 1,000 or 500 box steps, right? Okay. They're also trying to say that, hey, if we can create better I hit pause on that for some reason, better fitness inside of you, then we're going to use fitness as a hedge against sickness. So we have to pass through wellness. I'm going to show you this. I know I've talked about it before, but let me cue it up. Well, it's not the best picture. It's just the diagram. But anyway, so if you imagine a rainbow, and on the left side you got sickness, on the right side you have fitness, and at the very top you have wellness. Well, if your biometric measurements are in the fitness category, like your heart rate is down in the 50s, when you get sick and your heart rate kicks up, you just move into the 70s, which they would consider well. So when you're sick, you're really not that sick. I mean, yeah, you're still sick, but your body has some distance to go. So you're using fitness to hedge against these opportunities of sickness. Okay, what does this have to do with intensity? CrossFit defines its program or its methodology as, like I said already, fitness is defined as work capacity across broad modal and time domains. But the methodology, like what we're trying to do inside of CrossFit, is constantly varied, functional movements, executed at high intensity. I'm going to put a comma in there, sometimes. You can't send it every day. So just realize I'm not saying come in there and burn down the house every day. What I am saying is you should follow the intended stimulus, which we copy and paste into the workout for you, because that's telling you what intensity they're trying to get at. Intensity doesn't always have to mean fast. It might mean heavy. And I totally get some days are not send days. There's probably 1 to 2 days a week that I'm really pushing hard. And sometimes it's in the things that I don't actually even like because I know I should. All right. If you go to CrossFit main site and you click around, you're eventually going to get to their about page or on the education side. What are they about? They list it right here. It's improving your health and your fitness. It's not about becoming like going to the CrossFit Games. It's not about increasing your skills in particular, although that gaining of skills helps with your brain and its connections, which fights off all sorts of stuff, right? So always be using your brain, always be learning new things. But they're here to improve your health and your fitness. And if you go through the material, you're going to see exactly what they're talking about. Now, on their education side, they've got, the CrossFit Level 1 is the entry drug. You can actually just buy the notes and not even really like take the class. You could just like go through the notes. It's totally fun stuff. It's good stuff. Bunch of courses. Their online one is awesome because you can just do it at the community of your house. Any of my members, if you want to do this, let me know and I will support you in any way I can. I mean, you'll definitely need a wall ball and a PVC pipe. You can totally borrow that while you do your lesson at home, or you can do the lesson in the gym. That's totally fine with me. You can go on site, do all sorts of stuff. They have different levels you can get into. Level 1 is knowledge. Level 2 is working with athletes. Level 3 is knowledge. Level 4 is working with athletes. Okay, so let's get back into intensity and why this matters. Intensity, if you go through their material and then you look at the science behind what goes on and things they chart, we have got so much data points now because CrossFitters log everything. They said at a guess, we think intensity is the independent variable that lends itself to the most adaptation towards health and fitness. And now they know this to be exactly true. So there was a hypothesis, this is we think is true. And now with all this experimental data, I've been doing this for 18 years. We know it's really damn true. So intensity, we have to kind of define that and figure out what it is and what it's going to mean for you. So the technical definition of intensity is force divided by time. So you could do, like if I'm doing a thruster, let's say the bar is down at the 2 foot mark and then I stand up tall and the bar gets up to the 6 foot mark and I'm doing 100 pounds. So 2 feet to 4 or 6 feet is 4 feet and I've got 100 pounds. So let's say 400 foot-pounds of work, right? Divided by your time. How long did it take to get there? In a thruster, not too long, maybe a second. So basically, let's say it took you 2 seconds. You were very slow. I don't even know how that would be possible, but let's just say it. So 400 foot-pounds divided by 2 seconds gives you your 200 foot-pounds per second, or your power, right? So it's work divided by time. If I told you I did 100 pull-ups, you'd be like, well, okay, that's interesting, but tell me your time domain. I did 100 pull-ups in 1 day. Yeah, not too cool. I did 100 pull-ups in 100 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So there's a difference to I can just do work versus I can do work or I can generate power. So CrossFit is about generating power. Now again, this power in the workout could be I'm running fast, or it could be I need to go at a slower pace to maintain that power. So it's not necessarily did I burn down the 1 mile? What it's saying is sometimes I need to go a little bit slower in order to complete the task at a higher, I guess in this case, faster time domain. So if I was doing a mile run and I ran the first 400 meters, I full on sprinted it, I'm going to slow way down. But if I did the first 400 meters in a way that I could maintain, towards that ultimate maximum, and I was able to do the other 400 meters that way, I would get a better time than if I sprinted out of the gate. So part of this intensity is actually understanding how to spread it through time. If the workout is only supposed to be 2 minutes long, you better bet I'm sprinting my ass off, right? I'm really going hard at it. If the workout's time domain is 20 minutes, I can't sprint like that. There's just no way to maintain it. So then the idea is, how do I maintain over time? Unless it's something like a Tabata, where I'm doing 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off. So you really have to dive down into what is it that they're asking for, the intended stimulus, which is why we put it there. Sometimes people just want to go RX, and that is not what we're looking for. We do not want to just go RX because the weight or the movement may be outside your wheelhouse. And then you're changing dramatically what's supposed to go on. So let's say, for example, we're doing a 135-pound squat snatch. That's pretty dang close to my maximum. I can't do 30 of those at any reasonable time frame, right? And they're going to say something like, hey, let's pick a moderate to light weight, 135 pounds. That means I automatically know I need to shift down the weight to be light to moderate, right? So pounds and weight don't care, nor do distances care what you think. A mile is a mile, 400 meters is 400 meters. But if they're saying, hey, in this run, it should take you 2 minutes, and you're like, man, my 400 meters takes me 4 minutes, well, then you should be doing 200 meters in order to hit that same stimulus. And now you're trying to think, well, wait a minute. If I'm not used to running 400 meters, shouldn't I run 400 meters to get that practice? Sure, but not in this workout. They're saying if you push with some intensity, your ability to run that 400 meters goes up much faster than if you just tried to jog or walk 400 meters, right? So intensity leads to the change that you want. If I'm able to do a thruster at 65 pounds, 21 reps, no problem, I'm going to get closer to doing 95 pounds much faster than if I did 95 pounds slowly, okay? So intensity, this power output, is what drives you there. Now, the thing that kind of makes me laugh sometimes is that when some of our members, when you guys get into this and you're like, hey, Andy, I just read it up and I'm taking the level 1 or whatever, and it's talking about intensity. I don't feel like we talk about it that much. And I'm like, well, I have a podcast, a YouTube channel, and I put it on the notes. And so the answer is yes, we do, but you don't notice it until you need to notice it. So no, you don't notice the yellow minivans until someone says, hey, go look for yellow minivans. And then you start noticing them all over the place. Although I don't think there's any yellow minivans, but you know what I mean. It only becomes important to you when it becomes important to you. Okay, this is why we put the intended stimulus into the workout so that you guys can see it. The coach usually, we used to just say it. And then people were like, well, it doesn't make any sense. And then I started writing it up there or copy and pasting it in. And many of you were like, I see what you're saying. You're not saying do, I don't know, the workout at 225 pounds over my head, RX. You're saying pick a heavy weight that I could struggle with, but I could do in 2 reps. I'm like, yes. Like, okay, well, the weight has to change. It has to come down. I'm like, right. Now you're hitting the intended stimulus. So intensity differs for everybody. And what I would say is if there was a tired-o-meter or intensity-o-meter, if I moved it onto you, it would register an 8 out of 10 when we do the workout and you're moving with intensity. I fully know today was not an 8 out of 10. It was just stepping up on boxes. Now, comparatively, other people would be like, dang, Andy, you finished that in under 25 minutes, 500 box steps, just body weight. That's pretty intense. Well, I don't know. I probably could have gone a little bit faster right at the end. I was thinking, yeah, I probably picked this up a little bit. But I didn't know because it's a 24-minute workout and I have not done that many box steps together. So I had to kind of gauge it. So intensity is relative to your experience as well as your journey on this road of life. So a 70-year-old is going to have a much different intensity than a 17-year-old. Okay. I'm going to try to read these off. So, I'm horrible at reading, but I think it's important. Why intensity matters, especially in CrossFit. CrossFit is betting everything on the fact that I can get you fitter faster and healthier faster if I rely and move into the idea of intensity more often. Not 0 and not 100%, but more often. So, on adaptation, intensity drives adaptation. By pushing harder, the body responds by getting fitter, faster, and stronger. So, in another podcast we said, Brandon said it, your body responds to the stimulus or the challenge you put it under. That's true. If you do nothing, like many of my 50-year-old friends do nothing, their response is, my body is degrading. I wish I could say something better to them. I wish I could live a better example. I don't know. I think it's really probability biased. They don't think it's them. If they asked me, I'd say it's totally you, and I wish you would do something because I enjoy you guys and would love for you to live longer. Statistically, your birth year people, half of them are dead before they turn 76. Which half? Well, it's probably the ones that are not looking left and right to cross the street. Yes, I get it. Kinetic impact and the random roll of the dice could do something, but if you're not doing anything, then you're the one that's dying before 76. It's not rocket science. Do nothing, die early. Do something, hedge your bets, and potentially live longer, right? Okay, next thing. I'm going to butcher the word. Efficiency or efficacy, right? Intense workouts yield better results in a shorter amount of time which is the value for the people with busy schedules, right? So if, like me, you're like the minimal dosing for the maximal result, that's intensity. That's why the classes are only an hour. Like today, we probably should like just start the warm up with start box stepping because that's your warm up. But many times we have to like get you going, get you warm, get the body parts and stuff, teach you something, and then let you roll. But everything is supposed to be short and fast. Before, like back in 2008, when we didn't really have an idea of what we were doing and sort of really making it up as we went, it was pretty much, here's a warm up, it's always the same, 3, 2, 1, go. That was not very smart of us, but that's what we did. And we were done with the gym in 30 minutes. It's possible to do that. Of course, I like the community, and I know that if I have a community, I'm more apt to go in and do a thing than if I don't. So I think community is part of it. Okay, mental resilience. High intense workouts build a mental toughness, pushing people to expand their comfort zone. And that's true. Sometimes you need to learn into, this kind of sucks. Like today wasn't, the length of the workout did not provide for an intensity of I'm way out of breath. It provided for an intensity on the individual step, especially as you kept going, and this mental resilience. You had to like live in the suck and be like, why am I doing this? It's better for me. Let's do this thing, right? You have to lean into it. I think people who have a high degree of mental resilience or toughness can get through more things. There's a challenging time at the office. I think you can make it through it. There's a challenging time at home. I think you can make it through it. I think CrossFit, I think many children should do CrossFit. So they should do difficult things to ratchet up their ability to handle the more mundane things. It's a weird experience to understand that, like, sometimes the checkbook not being balanced might be somebody's biggest challenge. Whereas somebody else's challenge is, my sibling passed away at an early age. Which one is tougher? Yeah, we know. But if the individual hasn't experienced that, then they're not going to understand that I guess mathematically, or, outside the box, they can say that, yes, that's tougher. But your body is only built for the checkbook. Your body or your mind isn't built for the other thing. So CrossFit helps put in some mental resilience. I think you do have to learn to live with, this sucks, but this too will pass. I will get through it. Okay. Long-term health. Studies and CrossFit's own research, which I should almost never rely on someone's own research, but we do have a lot of data points all over the place, shows that intense workouts improve cardiovascular health, metabolic function, muscle endurance, all leading to a healthier lifestyle. Now, we didn't get into food, but yes, I would love to adjust your food. All right, let me pause on that one. All right, so Andy, should I just jump into the workout and be super intense without even knowing what I'm doing? No. Anybody brand new or anybody coming back from vacation, you need to work on that mechanics first and then consistency with that ability before moving with intensity. So first work on the clean and jerk, then work the clean and jerk with the weight you want to use. Once you've mastered that, then you could probably move with intensity. Obviously, mastering a weight doesn't mean I just PR'd it, so I should move that weight with intensity. Mastering a weight means you're mechanically sound, and if I drop the weight, then I can move with intensity. You should also, like I said, coming back from vacation, start with a lower intensity and build up. Don't just come right out of the gate. A great example of coming out of the gate stupid is doing, every once in a while, the 10 100 meter sprints comes up. We don't really sprint all that much, but at 100 meters, you're supposed to sprint it. Man, that one pulls more hamstrings than any other workout. It creates more injuries than any other workout. Is it the workout? No, it's just because we don't pop like that. We don't run explosively like that. What I would do is days before be practicing 50% runs or sprints, 60%, 70%, 80%, and the day of a massive amount of warming up. Some such that like maybe the first 5 sprints aren't even really fully engaged yet, right? Because I would want to be totally warmed up. You need to get there slowly. And at 18 years, I understand, even for myself, if I go on vacation, the first week back, it's still development. I'm still getting back into the routine. On to the next subject is intensity versus volume. Another way it could be said, quality over quantity. This is a long-standing argument. Hypertrophy says I should have more volume. Many CrossFitters or long-distance people, let's go with that first. Long-distance people say we need way more volume to create adaptation. It's simply not true. And we don't need to lift more weights. Yes, it is true. If you run more, you'll develop a running ability faster, sure, but you're going to lose strength. If you go in for strength more, you're going to lose the other side, that endurance. Those two typically don't go together. CrossFit fitness is trying to bridge those gaps. So we're going for intensity. Think of a sprinter, an Olympic sprinter. What do they look like? Let me pull one up actually. Well, the picture's not completely clear, but if you go and Google Olympic sprinter and look at them, this is it. This is beautiful. This is what we want. Now, if I pull up strongman or ultra runner, let me pull those up. Well, I can't get the pictures I want to come up without getting hit with fees or fines for using non-free pictures, but go look them up yourself. Here's a picture of a lady. She's very defined. She's got little stringy muscles, but there's not much to her. So I don't know many people that want to look specifically like that. Then the picture of the strongmen. I was looking for the guys that are like for real, that are in the competitions, and they're hard. Oh, there's one on the top left. They have a hard time with just normal mobility, right? I don't think many of us really want that either. So there is something we're looking for. What is it? CrossFit says it's that cross between strength and endurance, and that's what we're trying to pick up. So then the idea between intensity and volume is I am exchanging what volume will get me in one domain, strength or endurance, for what intensity will get me faster in both domains. So intensity is the independent variable associated with most adaptations to health and fitness. So we want to go with intensity all the time? No, I can't stress that enough. It is not like make yourself barf. That is not it. Like an 8 out of 10 on the intensity meter is fine. Now, some gyms don't coach the warm-up. They don't coach class. They don't push intensity. They have a really crappy fitness model, but they use the CrossFit model because even doing CrossFit crappy or half-ass works. I've said this for years. If you'll come to the gym 4 days a week, let me adjust your diet some, and you just simply half-ass the workouts, I will bet you times 10 the refund of your money that you're healthy and fitter a year from now. Because I know it's true. Even a crappy CrossFit program works better than most of these other programs for what most of us want. All right, then something comes up with safety and it's not safe to go intense all the time, right? I would agree with that. You just literally can't. So you're gonna have a reduction in your ability to drive intensity, right? So for me, usually Wednesday is a slow day, and either like a Tuesday or a Friday are the days that I try to like bring some heat, especially if it's something that doesn't involve like a pain point of mine. Like I'm not great at box jumps. I'll do box steps, but by the nature of them, they're just not as intense as a jump. So you obviously need to be thinking about yourself. A good example of this is my brother. He said, hey, I didn't come to the gym today because we have a wedding coming up and I didn't want to hurt myself. And I'm thinking, I've been doing this for nearly 20 years and I have never really hurt myself doing something smart in the gym. What are you talking about? And so I think some of it is this idea of intensity. I don't know how to push myself. So I would say, start off slow and ramp up. Record your results and then see what happens. So be safe, be slow, be smart. I think one of the biggest success stories I can give you with success with intensity is I've got a buddy, Eddie Lent. He and I do a ton of adventure races together. We've been racing longer than I've been doing CrossFit. Eventually, I switched over to the CrossFit model of training, and he still did the normal stuff, 2 hours a day of either running or biking. We go out and race. I train an hour a day at the gym, but really it's like less than 30 minutes of working out. You know what we do. And I'm able to keep up with him during the beginning. And near the end of the race, I'm usually the one feeling better because of the recovery aspect. Usually, not all the time. I'd say 80% of the time, I just follow him around. But I'm able to do this, and his training is much more time domained. He needs more time to do it. I don't want that time to be used up. I want to do other stuff. Now that all my kids are moving out of the house, I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll go biking more, do something else because I can. But before, I needed a minimal input. So like all you men and women, or fathers and mothers, whatever, having babies, this is why I got into it. I started having more kids. My fourth kid was born in 2008. We started the gym in 2008. I started doing CrossFit in 2007. I started doing adventure racing in 2001, something like that. And I needed a better way to train. I needed a better way to do this stuff. I needed to have better use of my time. Okay. You can use this intensity as a lifelong tool. I'm doing it now. I'm nearly 20 years into it. It's doing the right stuff for me. It's being smart. It's not running in the world is stupid. So you have to understand what intensity is. And this is what we drive for. This is why intensity matters. Intensity is king. I used to do all my videos what did I say? It was something and intensity is king, where routine is the enemy and competition or intensity is king. So routine being the enemy, yes, I like to mix it up. I think CrossFit affiliate programming mixes it up a little bit too much, but we're going to fix some of that. All right. So how do you modulate intensity? I think the biggest thing is listen to your body and track your effort. I think I need to give you an opportunity to repeat workouts more often. That's something I'm working on. And I think you also need to know that you have the permission to not send it every day, and you need to have the idea of what is a medium or a high, medium, and a low intensity day for you, right? Heavy days have an intentional point because intense heavy is a different stimulus than intense fast, right? Again, intensity is power. Power is work divided by time. The most intense lift you can make is a deadlift, right? More weight, shorter time domain, it's pretty good. Now, a thruster or a snatch gives you the longest travel for the bar, but you can't nearly do as much weight, right? And then the runs. A shorter run or bike or row can give you more intensity because I can break it out harder. You need to figure out how to modulate that. You need to know that we interlace heavy and light days on purpose. A reason we don't do heavy every day or let's lift every day, you can. There's 24-hour access to the gym. Go to the side, go lift. The reason we don't is because we're not doing hypertrophy. Lifting every day, throwing down intensity every day is not the best for you. Now, you may think to yourself, but wait, Andy, I've been doing this and then I plateaued. What's happening with the plateau? Well, if you actually follow the formula and your progress starts to stall, we need to start looking at how are you resting, recovering, and then what are you eating? I know most of you don't want to do that. So if you want to push the envelope, intensity, recovery, and nutrition. Let me deal with your nutrition. I mean, some of you guys won't open up to that, and that's okay, but it would be great if you did. Okay, another one, we need to follow a structured program. The reason we follow CAP is they're programming for CrossFit gyms. They know exactly what we're doing. They know the gear we have, and for the most part, and so they know what we have the capability of handling and doing. So you're going to see all that stuff. It's CrossFit's methodology. There's a couple people who lay out an entire year, and they create a sine wave of intensity and loading and so forth. So they're doing that for us. You should prioritize sleep. There's a whole podcast on that. You should prioritize nutrition. I got podcasts on that. If you don't know, I guess a good gauge that you could use is some sort of heart rate monitor to understand what your heart's doing. So you could become out of breath, or your heart could be pounding too hard. Those are two different ways, two different types of cardio failure, right? So you should know those. Some days, if you got a movement that is not great for you, maybe it's just a mechanic day or a skill day. I tell all new people, hey, this lift is complex, just skill day it. It's totally fine. I do like the variety because it gives you your brain the opportunity to not, like today, lean into the boredom of routine. So keep up with a good amount of variety. Even if you're like, hey, Andy, today I'm just going to go walk the dog. Totally fine. Go do that. Be patient. Trust the process. Okay, so then you might be thinking, Andy, you mentioned diet. What could I do? I would say the easiest thing is use the macro tracker. Basically, it's 30-30-30 carbs, proteins, and fats. It's actually 40-30-30, but I forget which one's the 40. I'm right now doing 50% protein, 50% fat, and it's a weird thing. I wouldn't suggest it to anybody. There is the zone diet. There is, tracking your macros. We've got programs you can work with us. We've got several coaches now that do nutrition. We've got a company we can work with. We can help you. I will work with anybody. If you track for 2 weeks and then let us go over that, I will work for you for free for a bit. Not many people take me up on that because you guys don't want to track, but you really should affect some of your meals, right? There's a lot of things you can go into the meals, but I think probably the general principle there is the plate method. You can look that up. It's basically your vegetables are a big part of your plate, and then your meat and carbs are the other quarter of your plates. And that's going to be up to you for your calorie needs. You should, doing what we're doing, you should be above 2,000 if you're a woman and somewhere around 3,000 if you're a guy. If you're trying to gain, if you're trying to lose, then maybe it goes down a tad bit. Everybody's body, their maintenance mode is going to be a little bit different, but there is a thing where if you diet enough then you start turning off processes in your body, and your body's maintenance mode drops because it's not as efficient in building muscle. It's not as efficient in fighting off diseases, right? So it has to shut stuff down. Another thing to look at is your hydration and electrolytes. Make sure you're maintaining that. You guys should know that by now. I think these packets of LMNT are one of the best things you can use. Simple individual serving, yes, you got to pay for them, but they're already divided up for you. Do you need to do that? No, you can make it on your own. It doesn't really matter, but you need to be paying attention to what you're doing in hydration and electrolytes. Another big one is inflammation. One reason that Evan and I are eating on this lion diet is apparently ruminant meat is very low inflammatory. So, weird autoimmune issues seem to be going away with us. And it's very not inflammatory. Another good way to fix on that is, hitting fish oil or like omega-3s or anything like that to reduce that. You can do, I think it's like different berry juices or leafy greens or stuff. Do a blending and drink it. I'm not a huge fan of supplements, but that's a place where I would to make sure you're getting enough if you're feeling super inflamed. You could do a recovery like up front with MyoFit or any other massage. That's a great intentional recovery device, right? I think you also need to be smart about what are your actual goals. It's not uncommon, but it's super weird when people are like, I want to both gain muscle, lose weight, be faster at the 10K, but also be stronger in my deadlift, and I'm like, okay, we can kind of do that. CrossFit does work, but they're like, I don't want to adjust my eating at all, and I don't want to actually have to like intentionally do any recovery. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. I mean, yes, it can work. It's just going to take more time. The more things of these you layer in, the more time you cut out. I think embracing the idea of nutrition as a lifestyle is really a good way to go to here. So I'm going to pause you, look through some of my notes, see if I missed anything. Hopefully I'm giving you an idea of why intensity matters. And intensity is different for everybody. And intensity grows over time. A brand new person's intensity could look pretty damn slow. But later on, it grows to be super fast because they become more fit. All right, I challenge you guys to go look up intensity and see what it is for yourself. This will be my intensity podcast that I'll give a clever name, and it'll sit there forever for you guys to understand we should be delivering some intensity. Not every day, but a lot of days. We should move towards that. At least two of the 5 days I'm going to the gym. If I'm only going in 3 days a week, then on one of the days, there should be a day where we're really pushing that intensity. If you're not sure, don't understand, just give me a call, give me a text. I'm happy to talk about it. Happy to work with you in class. I'm coaching all over the place as coaches come in, they go for various reasons, or the holidays, or I'm going on mission trips or whatever. So you'll find me somewhere. If you need me specifically, let me know. But all the other coaches, they've been through the same material that I've been through, and they understand this stuff. You can ask them. Some members in the gym have actually got their level 1. They're not interested in coaching, but they know this material too. You can also buy it from CrossFit.com, and you can go through the material. What I'll do next is, actually, you know what? I'll just do it right here. What I would do in a workout to create intensity. So let me pull that up. Okay, I know I've already gone through the workouts for this week and next week, but I'm just going to pick tomorrow, Tuesday, and we're going to talk about intensity. So let's say we've warmed up appropriately. The workout is as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes of, for me, it's going to be a 10-calorie row and 8 handstand push-ups. Okay, so 10-calorie row, all of us can do that, but it's supposed to be with intensity. So I'm curious what their time domain is on that 10-calorie row. Then handstand push-ups. I can do those, but I got a thing with my shoulder right now, so I'm going to sacrifice a lot of pushing because it kind of is painful. So I'm not going to do that. So how would I change it or affect it? Okay. Looking at the intermediate, it says 10-calorie row and 4 handstand push-ups. Again, I got a pain, so that's probably not what I'm doing. So they're saying, hey, we want you to do something between 5 and 10 rounds. That's kind of a big gap there, but I'm going to aim for 7 rounds then, right? The rows should take less than 50 seconds. Like, okay, cool. They've given me a time domain. Can I pull 10 calories in 50 seconds? The answer I think is yes, but hopefully in the warm-up, I'd give a practice, or maybe I'm going to do a mini round or something where I've got some time behind me. So can I do, I think the answer is yes, but can I do, from the beginning, am I like 40 seconds for 10 calories? Because I'm going to fall off the wagon, right? And then they're saying, can you do the handstand push-ups in 1 to 2 sets? At 8, no, because of the collar. Typically, the answer would be maybe, which means I'm going to need to drop it down to the 4 handstand push-ups. Yes, I can do 4 in 1 to 2 sets. So now I'm adjusting like the needs and the demands. So I think I can do the 10 calorie row in 40 seconds, which means I'm going to slow down over time. Totally fine. Because they're saying do it less than 50 seconds, right? So 50 seconds is a higher domain. Now, if I didn't care about clicking RX or one of these buttons, what I would actually do then is say, I'm going to row for 45 seconds. If I hit 10 calories first, great, I'm done. If I hit 45 seconds and I'm not at 10 calories, I'm going to get off the rower and go do something else, okay? But I'm going to be pushing with intensity. I just don't want to go past the point, right? And then the handstand push-ups. I would probably change those to either seated dumbbell presses because pressing up doesn't seem to hurt, but catching a weight or being upside down in that shoulder position, it does hurt. And so bringing the weight down actually hurts as well. So that might be an issue. I might have to do something different. Maybe it's just a push-up, an all tricep push-up. Totally fine. What would I probably do? Would I do 8? I can do 8 push-ups in 1 to 2 sets for a very long time. So I'm going to say yes to that. I might even drop it down to 6 because I know I like to do them in 3s. So I could do a 3 and a 3 and then just keep that going. And that would also keep my intensity up on the rower. So you see what I've done here. In order to hit their time domain of, I want to be able to do, basically around every minute and a half, I have to have the row under control, and then I got to get through the handstand push-ups, which is going to be very monostructural, so my arm's going to burn out pretty dang quick. This is what I would do. So it even says right here, hey, this is low volume, but with a fast transition and complementary workout. So basically a row is a pull, and a handstand push-up is a push. So it's, one then the other. So you should be able to keep up a high rate of intensity or movement in this one. If I were to go to the next day, let's go actually to a heavy-ish one. Okay, here's a good one. So on Thursday, we have a snatch warm-up, and then it's as many rounds as possible in 15 minutes. Again, the time domain of 10 and 15 means I can't necessarily sprint out of the gate because I'm going to fall apart. So knowing that it's 15 minutes, I'm like, okay, I've got to be judicious with my beginning because I don't want to end. It says 125 pounds for girls, 185 pounds snatch for guys. I know I can't do 185 pounds. I'm going to go down and look. I know this is a moderate loading for what CrossFit considers a snatch. For me, it's not moderate. It's super heavy. So I'm going to look down here and it's going to say I'm going to do between, this is a wide range, 10 to 30 snatches at 185. No, that's not even happening even once. Okay, so what could I do 10 to 30 of? It says the loading should be moderate to heavy and should perform singles. Okay, that's good to know. I could do a 135-pound snatch. It would have to be a full squat snatch for me to do it, but I'm going to take quite a bit of time between. So I need to drop it down below that. I know from doing a lot of squat snatches that 105 is a sweet spot for me. I can hit that relatively well all the time. 115 is pushing a bit, and so I'm looking at this going, man, it wants me to do 10 to 30 in total. Actually, let me reread the workout. So you're going to do every 3 minutes, including 0, run a 400 meter. Okay, I see what it's saying now. I misread it. So you have 15 minutes. At minute 0, 3, 2, 1, go, do a 400 meter. It says I need to be able to run the 400 meter in less than 2 minutes. I can do that. Usually my runs are about 150, even when I'm tired, so I'm okay there. And then it says the snatches, I should have about a minute for snatching because you get every 3 minutes do a thing. So at 0 minutes, at 3 minutes, you're going to go run. So in a minute, they're saying I should do about 15 snatches. Okay, that means every 10 seconds I'm doing 1. All right, so now instead of 105, I'm thinking, okay, I could probably do 115. Because that's not terrible. That's 10 though, and they're saying I want 15. Now that I'm thinking 15, wait, every 10 seconds, that's only 6. I did math. See, damn it, time math. That's not enough. That's not right. I'm actually going to drop it down to 95 pounds, knowing that I'm going to do 1 every 6 seconds, because that would give me 10. I need to do it slightly faster, so 95 pounds might be the right weight. It might even go a tiny bit lower if they're looking for, let's see, if we're going to do this 15 times, so it's going to hit it 5 times. So, oh no, that was right. So a total of 10 to 30. So, that was cool. I could have done that. So yeah, going back on the math and understanding the workout, what it is you're going to have basically 5 minutes to do lifts, and they want you to do in total 10 to 30. So I'm going to land on 15. That means I need to do 3 lifts in those in that time domain. So maybe I'm going to go heavier then. So you see how I'm kind of calculating this out. Based on what they said, I know it's slightly confusing. I should have pre-read this stuff, but I'm going to do 15 snatches, and I'm going to run faster than do about a minute 50 pace on the run. Yes, I can do those. So that means I have to choose a weight that allows me to do that. 185, never going to happen. I need to drop that down. I know that I do a better job when I squat snatch than when I power snatch. Okay, it says moderate to heavy. I can lift more if I squat. It said just snatch, which means do whatever hell you want, just forward to overhead in one movement. You can stand up if you, or squat or stand, power, whatever. So I'm going to go for the heavier lift, knowing I'm going to do squat snatches. I'm going to try to do maybe 6 each time. That's 5 times, right? 3 to 6. That's going to give me 15 to 30, somewhere in that range. And I think I can maintain that. But this is how I would use intensity if I'm feeling it. Will my arm allow me to do that movement? Yes, I've already practiced it. Will my legs let me run? Yes, I can do that. We just did Chad. My legs are fine. Or at least for moving, right? I know they're kind of gassed right now. But you see what I'm saying? I'm building this up. Now, that's a Thursday, which is good for me. That's usually Thursday or Friday. I'm going to push in a little bit more of a sin. It's usually Tuesday and then Thursday or Friday, which means I'm going to go look forward at Wednesday and say, well, what is that? Well, it's got double unders. I'm not going to do those because of my knee, especially if I want to run. So I'm already going to change the workout. And wall balls. So maybe what I'm going to be doing there is wall balls and the bike, right? So it's probably a move day for me because wall balls also get my knee kind of funny, but I will still want to do the workout. So maybe that becomes my move day so that I can then send it on Thursday. So I'm looking a little bit ahead, but I also know my basic schedule. And this is how I push for intensity. Am I a paragon of manhood and awesomeness? No, by no means. But I'm a pretty damn fit, healthy guy for 50, not taking any medicine. So I think you guys want to do this. And the plan is simple. Just show up every day, and some days send it, and some days don't. That's pretty easy. Understand intensity. Understand it is the most important thing that CrossFit can ask you for. Now, they say go with intensity. I think the other important thing is constantly varied functional movements. How important? I think you could probably do well like a sprinter where you're just sprinting with intensity, though it's not varied. So you're going to get very domained in what you do and you might develop weirdly. And it's not varied, so you're probably going to be bored. So there is that. The whole methodology is pretty damn awesome and eloquent. Constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. Sometimes. I think that says it all. I think going down that road, you can't really mess up. I think it's the best minimal effort program you can do, requesting a absurdly maximal result. It just is. Understanding where the intensity lies in your own body is going to be the challenging part, but it gets better as you do the workouts and log your results so you know where you stand. Okay, guys, that's intensity. Hopefully that made some sense. Hopefully it spurred some questions. Hopefully some of you guys out there in the ether that listen to this that aren't part of the gym have questions and are thinking to yourself, maybe I should be doing this. If you are local, come on in. Through 2024, we're doing some giveaways, so catch a giveaway. It's our gift to you. All right, guys, I am here. I am Andy McCann, your host for this show, sometimes with Levi and sometimes with Evan and sometimes with Evie. And our job is to help you lay a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances.